So in today's session, we're going to look at the importance of teamwork. Now, a key part of becoming a professional is to be able to work effectively in teams, to work effectively with other people. Most businesses and organisations rely on teamwork and collaboration, so this is a critical skill for all employees and all professionals. Now, when you're employed or even self-employed, you'll almost always be required to work in collaboration with others. You may be part of a permanent team where you work with the same people on a regular basis, or you may be required to form or join new teams for specific projects or activities. You may be in a team with people from your own organisation, or you may be expected to work in a team with people from other organisations. Now, typically teams have a structure. So this relates to ideas around hierarchy and authority. Teams have roles and responsibilities, and we're going to look at these things in a moment. So it's really important to understand when you're working in a team who does what, and to be able to fulfill your own role as well as you can. Now, working in a team is also about communication, which we looked at previously. When you communicate clearly and with respect, you can work better with others and you can build better bonds, better relationships with others. Team working and collaboration skills are highly sought after by employers and often come at the top of the list of things that you'll be expected to show when you're employed. Now, part of being in a team may be to take the lead and take the initiative. Sometimes you'll be expected to follow instructions, but other times you can lead the way, all part of working in a team. And teams are powerful. They get more done. They multiply impact. They can solve more problems and they can create more solutions. And when the team wins, everyone wins. Now, as I mentioned before, a key part of becoming a professional and a key part of working with other people, working in teams, is to understand the different roles that exist within your chosen sector or industry and the different roles that exist within the teams that you work in. And it's very important for you to understand your own role as well as the role of those around you. And with different roles come different types of responsibility. Now, this is partly about hierarchy, how senior you are within the organisation. But it's also about understanding the job that you've been employed to do and how that's different from the job that others around you are doing. If you clearly understand your role, you have a better idea of the skills you need for that role and what you need to work at getting better at in order to be good at that role. Understanding roles and responsibilities is linked to the idea of authority and hierarchy, and we're going to look at that in a moment. And when you understand the responsibilities you have and the responsibilities of those around you, your manager for example, then you can function better as part of a team. So a very important part of becoming a professional, of becoming employed, of starting your new job is to think about and be aware of roles and responsibilities, your own role and your own responsibilities, and the role and the responsibilities of others who work around you. And remember, when you have a particular responsibility for something, this means that you can be held accountable for that thing. You will be expected to deliver against that responsibility. So this means that when you start working, you always need to understand what's expected of you, because that's how you will be judged and measured. Equally, if you have a clear understanding of what you're responsible for, this means that you will be recognised and rewarded when you complete that task or when something that you're responsible for goes well. The responsibility of those around you can be as important to understand. This may relate to safety, in that someone may have a particular responsibility for an aspect of workplace safety that you may rely upon. So again, roles and responsibilities, understanding your own and understanding others. Now we're going to look now briefly at the subject of authority and hierarchy. Now, almost every company or every organisation, however small, will have a structure that's based on authority and hierarchy. Now this means that different people across the business have different levels of responsibility. The senior management of a business will typically be made up of highly experienced individuals who are responsible for ensuring the organisation is well run and that there is a strategy that will help the organisation to grow and be successful. Larger organisations tend to have what's often called middle management level. These managers or supervisors report to the senior managers but also oversee the work of others. Middle managers or supervisors will also tend to have significant experience and will have worked up to that position. Technical staff may also have some management responsibilities, but will be more focused on overseeing the practical aspects of the business. Some technical staff may have a very specific role that's purely focused on completing a specific set of technical tasks. And then entry-level staff typically have the lowest amount of responsibility. This is because they lack the experience to assume any major responsibility, and this may be where you start your role in a particular organisation. And if you are a professional, you must always respect your position in the hierarchy. This means that you will always listen to and follow the instruction of those in a position of authority. In many businesses or organisations, you will have a manager, sometimes called a line manager. This is someone who is responsible for setting new tasks and overseeing your work. You have a responsibility to respond positively to your manager and to develop a good working relationship with him or her. Your manager also has a responsibility to you. They need to make sure you are comfortable in your role, you are not being asked to do anything beyond your experience, and that you have someone to talk to if you have any issues. If you understand the hierarchy of an organisation, you will be able to see how your career might progress. When you get promoted, this is usually described as a step up in the hierarchy. So when we think about authority and hierarchy, remember the more experience that you have, the more experience you gain over time, the more opportunities that you'll have to take on more responsibility. There are many cases of people who started as entry-level workers and went on to lead a business, and this could be you. And when you're planning your career or thinking about how you might progress within a particular industry or sector, it can be really helpful if you take time to understand the hierarchy and organisational structures that are common. Are you going into an industry that's dominated by very large businesses with a lot of structure, or are they typically dominated by smaller business with less structure? In this way, you can develop a better understanding of what the next career step would be for you and how you can make that step. So let's just quickly summarise what we've learned today. We've talked about the importance of being able to work well and effectively with other people. Alongside communication, this is one of the critical employability skills. It's really important that you understand how to work effectively in teams, that you're able to work with others. And as part of this, it's important that you're able to understand your role, to understand your responsibilities, and to think about the role and responsibilities of others. And again, linked to this, it's really important and really helpful to you if when you join an organisation, you can understand the authority, structure and the hierarchy that you're going into. Who reports to who? What's the management structure? Who is above you? That also gives you an idea of your potential career path if you want to make progress within that organisation. Now, for your learning task today, what I'd like you to do is think about a job that you might apply for. And I want you to think about the role that you might play and the responsibilities you might have. And I'd like you to note down 3 things that you think would be your responsibility in that job role, and 3 things that wouldn't be your responsibility in that job role, but that might be the responsibility of someone else, perhaps your manager or a colleague. So, just to recap, think about a job role, a specific job role that you might like to apply for, and then write down 3 things that that job would involve, that would be your responsibility, and 3 things that the organisation needs to do, but that wouldn't be your job role. And this will help us think about this issue of roles, responsibilities. Good luck.